560, 96.1 FM, and 87.7 FM. This hour of Sports 56 Happy Hour is brought to you by MemphisFarmers.com. Insurance coverage backed by a local agent and a brand trusted nationwide. We are farmers. MemphisFarmers.com.
Check it out right here.
Ladies and gentlemen, and now,
The only man to give death a near Johnny experience. Johnny Harden.
And I can tell you this, death came back for some more, just like you did on Sports 56 Happy Hour with your very good friend, Johnny Radio. Y'all know who I'm always with, my good friend, Gabe Kuhn. You can follow both of us on this little app called Twitter. And I will tell you, there is a lot of things out there that we get to. And we're going to lay out the show for you in just 1 second. But at G_Kuhn71, that's how you get the rundown and not only of my show, but of Middays with Greg and Eli. Plus, if you follow Gabe, you'll be the first to be able to just see us on Twitter. And then you can go from there, from Instagram to Periscope to YouTube, because we are now also streaming everything live at Sports 56 WHBQ. And again, it is awesome. We have 2 FM channels now, 96.1, 87.7 FM, and of course, y'all know about the original gangster, I always say, and that's AM 560. But today, we have a lot, don't we, Gabe?
We sure do. We sure do. Like he said, follow me at G_Kuhn, KUHN 71 for the rundown of the show. Got the Periscope stream, Twitter stream, whatever you watch it. On 1:30, we're going to have Dustin Starr in. Got some funny stories to break down today, I believe. 2 o'clock, Lee Smith talking Grizzlies and everything else in between. And then 2:30, we're getting to Hardenwood. You already know we're getting to Hardenwood. And I think, John, I saw on Twitter what he's going to talk about today.
You don't want to miss it.
You do not want to miss it, I promise you.
You don't want to miss it, and I can promise you today at 2:30, if you go on Twitter and you follow me and Gabe and all that good stuff, like I said, if you follow all the producers and, Zach Boyd, my man Gabe, Drew Barrett, you'll have all the shows faster than you can even think about it. Bing, bang, boom, at the snap of a finger. But today, we're going to get it. In the first segment, I'm going to rip Kyrie and explain to you who Kyrie is. And I'm going to remind you what Kyrie is. And then I'm going to go right into that and start ripping baseball, because I don't like to just rip people. So I'm going to get all my ripping out here in the first segment, because I'm going to rip them a new one, if you know what I'm saying. Then I'm also going to, like we talked about at 1:30 with Dustin Starr, I tweeted out, and this is why I want y'all to follow us on Twitter. Gabe, did you see the finishing move of all time? Did you see it?
I have not gotten to watch the YouTube
You haven't
video.
got to watch the YouTube.
I will watch it right now.
I'm going to tell you right now, you take a little break over there. I got this. You watch this. I'm going to ask Dustin Starr, and you do me a favor during the break, and you tell me how I'm going to do this on radio. Because this is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. And if you aren't following Johnny_Radio,
I hope Dustin is not using this move.
If Dustin uses that move, I can promise you, Maria will. Never mind. Talk about Slap City, man. Woo. Oh, buddy. But anyway, that's why you want to go to Twitter, because there are certain things on these wonderful airwaves that I can't say. Even if you're watching us, you'll get the inside joke if you, though, are on Twitter. But I'm going to get to this stuff that I need to talk about and things that are really, really bothering me. I think this whole Kyrie Irving, people actually talking, like Kendrick Perkins came out, and I think he laid it out exactly as it should be. Kyrie Irving, if he was actually in a position of power, again, you have Iggy, and then above Iggy is also Chris Paul. So it's not like Kyrie is the dude. Like this is the job that nobody wants, except for somebody like Kyrie, because he constantly wants to do one thing, and that's to prove that he's somehow some intellectual genius, and he's better than you. And I'm just going to remind all of you people, and there are too many Kyrie Irving stories to recount. From his high school days to his Duke days to his days with the Cavs when he did nothing before LeBron, then when he got LeBron and how he acted when he got him, and then after they win a championship, how he acted and talked, and then he went to the Celtics and how he destroyed that, and then his whole comment about how he coached he talked to Brad Stevens on the plane about how he should be the coach and how to coach, and he really thinks he helped Brad Stevens grow as a coach. I mean, the audacity, the arrogance, the way this man thinks of himself, and then the stupidity with what he says. And the great thing is, I don't have to tell you my opinion. I get to read you his because he puts them out there like a moron. And I get to read you quote for quote. And are you ready to hear again, quote for quote, what it was that my man put out on November 29th, 2019 on his Twitter account, Mr. Kyrie Irving, in long form, because 140 characters weren't enough, so he had to put it on a piece of paper and then take a picture of it and tweet out that picture so everybody could read his synopsis of how smart Kyrie is. And again, I'm just going to give you Mr. Kyrie, the guy who y'all tried to kill me. I told y'all he shouldn't have been the number one pick. Told y'all he ain't going to be anything. Then he got LeBron, and I'm like, yeah, they'll get a chip, but then he'll end up sabotaging it and ruining that. He went to the Celtics, made them worse. Look at them with Kemba. You can tell this is Jason Tatum's team. Please don't even get me started. Now, what are they doing with the Brooklyn Nets? He's throwing his teammates under the bus. They were pretty good last year. Oh, but Kevin Durant's not playing. Anyway, I don't want to hear about it. I'm just going to read you Kyrie's words. I'm just going to tell you again, and I'm going to remind you, Kyrie's words before this were also about how he coached Brad Stevens on the plane on how to coach. Think about what he just said. Could you imagine if a player came up to you and said, hey, coach, I need to talk to you about how to coach? And he's like your player. I'd sit there and listen to it and be like, OMG, he's a bleeping lunatic.
And I think part of that is why they moved on to greener pastures and got Kemba Walker instead.
And again, here are his words after, on November 29th, 2019, when he's with Boston and things aren't going well, he's mad. And this is also about how this is just a couple days after he talked about how he coached Brad Stevens on how to coach. Here's what he says. It happens all the time, and tonight just shows how sports/entertainment will always be ignorant and obtrusive. It's one big show. That means very, and then he gets big words, very little in the real world that most people live in. Because there are actually things that matter that go on with people who live in the real world and that go on within it. Like figuring out a life that means more to you than a damn ball going into a hoop, or learning how to grow up being in a fishbowl of society based on your popularity level as a level or person dealing with becoming the leader of your family after someone's passed, or not knowing how to deal with life after it happens. But, this game of sports entertainment matters more than someone's mental health and well-being, right? Or the real life thing that happens to people every day, but they still manage to perform for the NBA and for, of course, the fans, right? Because it's all about doing it for the fans, for the organization that supposedly loves you so much. Think again, it's a game, and it's promoted as a fan experience for the ticket buyer and the viewer at home, while defacing the people who truly are as people. What? Did you get that? Because he was trying to show
it was a little convoluted.
How intellectual he was. By the way, he misspelled like 7 damn things and can't. I mean, listen. And I'm one of the worst person. I'm not going to sit there and like try to correct anybody. I know I know for a fact that I am dyslexic. I am dumb. If you want to say, I don't give a damn. I will tell you my Twitter. I talk usually into the little microphone. If things are a mistake, bam, they're a mistake. But I don't actually ever come out and tell you that I'm an intellectual genius and I'm better than everybody in the world. Now, do I joke that I should be president, or do I joke around because I like to have fun on the show? Because I love talking with people, and I like talking to people about things that are in the real world and in real life. But again, for Kyrie to try to talk about he lives in the real world and we don't, and that like he's going to cash all those checks for those millions of dollars and then talk about how it's a BS fan experience and all this stuff. I'm not lying to you. It makes me want to slap the hell out of Kyrie and be like, son, you realize how old you are and how much money you have? More than most corporations. And you can't find happiness? That's on you. You, son. Nobody else. Stop blaming the rest of the world. Go figure this out and quit going on Twitter and Instagram and trying to tell everybody that you're a lot smarter and you're better than them and you know more, because all I've seen you do other than hit one damn shot in your life has be injured. What'd you do at Duke? Not jack. What'd you do in high school? Oh, that's right. Not jack, because they got injured. Oh, because remember, could have gone for that championship, but you know what? I'm going to Duke. So puts those players, himself before them, goes to Duke, gets hurt, becomes the number one pick, always puts himself first, goes to the Cavs. What did they win while he was there and the leader? Not jack. Nothing. Then LeBron comes back and saves the world. And people actually know who Kyrie Irving is because of LeBron James. Because if you didn't, because I'll tell you one thing, you wouldn't have made that big shot. You would have never played in a playoff game, and you wouldn't have the respect that everybody for some reason gives you. You might have some great handles, but I've seen dudes that have great handles, but I want you to look at how many games you play a year. Go ahead, pull it up. He does not play 50% of the time. He doesn't deserve the money he makes. He is a arrogant a-hole, to be honest with you. And for him to talk about the fans, I can promise you right now, if I was up in Brooklyn, I hate the Knicks because their owner is a moron and he talks about the fan. He threw out the oak tree. If I was in New York, I couldn't be a fan of anybody in New York. I literally would have to go and be a fan somewhere else. In that great city, you got James Dolan, who's destroying the Knicks. And now you have Kyrie, who just literally is going to kill Brooklyn.
I think it's a curious decision by the players to vote him in. Like, you wouldn't think
nobody else wanted that job.
Yeah, but I mean, you wouldn't think given his track record that players would be there to vote him in. As far as the money thing goes, and how he acts, money's not the root of happiness. So I can see where some of his things, some of his sort of
money might not be the root of happiness. And by the way, can I tell you something? I don't think money is the root of happiness. I definitely don't live to be a millionaire, because I wouldn't be doing this if I did. I like being happy. I like my kids. I like my wife.
The life of an NBA player is definitely, as far as the money goes, it's awesome. As the money goes, it's awesome. Sometimes people don't give you the personal respect as far as being a human being. I think there's a lot of guys that struggle with it, and the NBA tried to go back
being
a few years ago.
And you'll be treated like a human when you want to come out constantly every day on Twitter.
I agree.
And put synopsis about how smart you are.
I'm talking about his whole spiel about how people don't recognize the
his
human
genius
element of it and the genius of it, and how
you're paid
the
pretty damn handsomely,
how the
obviously.
franchise gets treats their players. They're supposed to love you. That whole spiel. That's what I'm referring to. I think he is definitely at times overly unhappy in situations where he should be. Do I think this whole thing, like,
if Kyrie couldn't dribble this quote basketball,
he doesn't
that
have
he
enough
talks,
power.
Just listen to what I'm saying real
situation.
quick. This basketball, this orange ball that he talks so degradingly, this sports entertainment that he degrades, this league in the NBA that he degrades, without that league, would anybody know who the hell Kyrie Irving is? No. So Kyrie, pay a little homage, say thank you, and shut the hell up. Because the more you talk, All I have to say is you prove to me every single time you put out a tweet or open your damn mouth that unequivocally I was correct years ago. The minute I saw him when he was a punk kid, I said, that is the most arrogant, egotistical person I've ever seen in my life. And if he doesn't get his stuff together, he will be the fastest to be broke. And then I ran into Antonio Brown this year, and so other people have come around.
But now he's the VP of the NBA Players Association.
And now he's the VP. Does that mean that the VP of the Players Association, is going to do something good? Does that mean anything? Because it doesn't mean jack to me. I don't think that means absolutely anything. Will Kyrie Irving win anything?
With the Nets? Probably not. I just
like I said,
but
without LeBron,
look, I just don't know.
I
don't know if he has enough power in the situation he's given. But again, I don't.
He sure.
I don't
has
understand
power.
I don't understand how the players voted him in with his reputation. That's sort of where I'm at.
That's why I'm with Kendrick Perkins, and especially somebody who's thrown people like DeMar DeRozan, Kevin Love. He's thrown LeBron James. Who in the hell is this man? He threw every single Celtics teammate he had under the bus. He just threw his Nets teammates under the bus. Like, how could you, as a player, like, that's why I'm saying this just proves this job means nothing because players don't even like him. It's almost, I feel like a punishment. Like, hey, let's make this idiot do some work since he thinks he's so damn smart.
The one thing I really do think Kyrie is a bright person, but he uses it in a negative fashion and calls out people, uses a little bit of arrogance.
Bright people
with
don't
it.
do that.
Yeah.
No,
they
I mean
do.
that's just true.
They do.
No, they usually don't.
People
By the way,
do.
hold on. Where's the thing?
Smart people.
Albert Einstein. Hold on. Where did
Where
he
are
write
you,
this? Hold on, I
Albert
found
Einstein?
a quote. No. He literally said Albert Einstein.
Smart people can get greedy. Smart people
Stephen
can
Hawking,
do things
Albert
wrong.
Einstein, and Kobe
Smart
Bryant
people are
into
capable
one.
of doing negative things.
Hold on. Stephen Hawking.
He does think the Earth is flat.
Albert
That takes away from the bright
Einstein
part.
and Kobe Bryant rolled into one. You think that's who you are? Like, Kyrie thinks he is Albert Einstein, Stephen Hawking, and Kobe Bryant rolled up into one. And that ain't my words. That's his.
He said that?
Yes.
Oh, my God.
Again,
When did
you
he say
can roll
this?
up a fat spliff. These are the things I went and looked for, the dumbest things that Kyrie. And I also got also more memes of the dumbest things or the best things that players have said about the Astros cheaters. But, dude, if you read some of these quotes off of Kyrie's Twitter and Instagram, like, are you joking? And, like, it literally is like a bad joke. And it's like, I don't think he's even in on it. I really think the players laugh at him. They're like, hey, let's vote him into this zero position, make him do all the work. But, I mean, you really think that Kyrie is do you really think a lot of players out there love and respect him? Because I'll tell you right now, I think of him as almost a pariah. And he is turning into basically on a much lower level, and I'll talk about it in a minute. But if you go and read of all the stuff that the players have said in just a week, the Astros are on a complete different level. But again, I went today and pulled up all the things that have been said. Do you think Kendrick Perkins went on television yesterday and said the blind leading the blind and that Kyrie is weak and all this
And
stuff
again,
because Kendrick Perkins doesn't talk to anybody in the NBA or know anybody in the NBA or believe what he said?
No. I'm not saying that. I think his reputation is in front of him and people don't respect him because of that. But again, I don't think him getting voted into the VP is a disrespect thing. I don't think it's a backhand or a slight. He wanted it.
Why? No, it's just like who else wanted it is basically kind of like who else.
Would you?
By the way, do you know who else was running for it?
Who?
That's what I'm saying. Who? Do you know? Because I've looked it up like 5 times. Who was he running against? And I can't find it anywhere. Look for it.
There's a couple of VPs too. There's like a leading VP. And behind.
Basically,
I just again, my whole point. I think it's curious that he is voted into this, but I don't think it's a slight. I don't think people are trying to put him in that position.
Anything.
No, that's what I'm saying. I don't feel strongly either way.
Nothing.
I don't think it's going to.
Well,
make history
change.
change.
Some have come out and said,
I don't think it's going to make the future of the NBA change by any stretch of the
I will
imagination.
tell you, Kendrick Perkins went completely off. Brad Stevens completely went over and when he was asked about it, chuckled and said, can we just move on to the next question on players on my team? Like, anybody realistically that's been around the man and has actually earned respect in the National Basketball Association, do they speak with respect about Kyrie? Because I don't hear it.
No, they don't.
I don't.
They don't.
And I'll tell you one thing. When I listen to, like, what's that show, First Take, and I'm sitting there watching that today and they're talking about it, usually they'd be like loving them some Kyrie. But greatest handles, blah, 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 blah. Man, Max roasted him and was just straight up honest. The problem with Kyrie is he thinks he's better than everybody and their grandmother, and he's not. Well, I don't think he
narrative,
said that, but that's
the
just
narrative
the way
around
I
him.
shortened it.
Bright guy, arrogant, always been a
See, I don't know if
respected,
he's bright.
always been a respected on the court basketball player. On the court basketball player, but off the
Not a
court,
leader.
there's been so much. No,
He's
absolutely
been called,
not a
by
leader.
the way, he has been like voted as one of the worst leaders. Like there was that blind, and of course the players wouldn't go out, but what's his name, who's very well respected, and Kyrie was voted 47 out of 50 times by players. Only 3 other people got votes. 47 were Kyrie Irving. Like, think about that. That is not like a rarity. That means you are literally, like, you're that annoying dude. Like, you're that really talented player who, without all that skill, man, you'd have been gone a long time because ain't nobody can stand you. All you want to do is talk bad about all you want to do is blame everybody else, and you never put anything on your shoulders because all you do is brush your shoulders off. I just don't respect Kyrie for the way a man who is actually, and that's the thing about Kyrie, is he's talented, uber talented. But damn it, he's going to be the first person to tell you. Like, go out there and play your game, and then don't, when the game is over, talk about how this game